Chris Park. In shooting sports, a few weeks ago I reviewed a very similar rifle to this, but this is the FX DRS Tactical in 177 and this is the UK spec version at 12 foot-pounds. Now the one I had before was the 700mm sniper version, which was developing over 50 foot-pounds, but this is developing 12, it's in 177, it's a 500mm barrel. Now you can have this rifle in a 500mm, 600mm or a 700mm barrel in 177, 22 or 25 caliber, and the relative magazine capacity with any of those is 16, 14 or 12 shots. So this 177 version is 16 shots in 177 and it's got the usual type of FX magazine, so you just undo the lid like that, rotate it all the way around, put your pellets in to lock the system, and then just dot them all back in as you go around and then just release the pressure like that. Clip this back on top, lock that in place, and then once you cock it, slots in and you can shoot away then. Right, cocking is on the side lever here and it's ultra smooth, very lightweight, no problem at all, and of course that will put the probe through the magazine every shot, give you a new shot, and then the last round the rotor in there will stop it and hold the last round open so you know when you've come to the end of your magazine. So if I just hold that open and squeeze the trigger, I can let that forward just to safely decock the rifle. Now the key concept of the DRS is that this large barrel looking system is actually the air cylinder, and the barrel liner itself, which is a superior STX on this rifle, runs within there. I've taken the thread cap off, put a Sax sound moderator on it, and of course in a 177 it's very quiet and you can hunt with a minimal disturbance whatsoever. It's also similar profile to the barrel or the shroud or however you want to call it on this, so it looks quite good. Now this forend is 295mm long and you've got plenty of space on the sides for M-lock, and it's also got an Arca rail on the underside, and I fitted this tier 1 bipod, which is quite a big bipod for this rifle, but it does give you superb stability. You've got the plenum here, and of course that air cylinder has got 210cc and it's a 230 bar fill. I think you can probably get to about 150, 160 shots with absolute precision from the MP2 regulator, and to be fair, once I got to sort of 10 magazines I was thinking I'll just refill it now anyway, because that was 160 shots. Now this rifle is actually supplied as standard just in this centre section here. You don't get the AR-15 back end, the buffer tube and things like that, because the whole point of this is it's AR-15 type rifle looking, and it does look very similar to an AR-15 in many respects, because of course the plenum chamber here makes it look like a magazine system. The grip supplied on the rifle is the UG1, that's FX zone, it's AR-15 compatible, and you've got nice rubberized stippling and a palm swell, and it's ambidextrous, shoot it left or right handed, but of course the side lever itself is only ever going to be right handed. It's got a 2-stage trigger on it, gives really nice adjustability and a crisp release, and it actually weighed as delivered at 475 grams, which is about 17 ounces, and if I just give you a safe dry fire now, this isn't too loud because it's a 177 sub 12, gives you a superb, stable, consistent release that's very predictable in use. But you can adjust the position of the blade and the weight and things like that, and if you want to change the rotation of it, you can do all those things to your heart's content. So the AR-15 back end supplied is from a Smith & Wesson AR-15 rifle. This is all exactly compatible with the AR-15 system. You've got the castle nut here which fastens the buffer tube into the back of the receiver. You can do what you want with the back end, but for now just disregard that because that's your choice. Sportsman Gun Centre, who supply the air rifle, can supply all sorts of different varieties, but these things, there are just hundreds of different types. This back end gives me adjustable length of pull. It goes from 10 inches to 30¼ inches, which is 254 to 335 millimeters. And that, of course, will effectively change the overall length of the rifle. Without this moderator on, the rifle is 920mm, which is 36¼ inches overall length. But of course, depending on what length of pull you want, that will change. Which back end you want, that will change. And the core concept is looking here at what you're getting for the FX Tactical. Overall weight of the rifle is 2,660 grams, which is £5 14 ounces. It is very compact, tactile and handleable, and of course depending on what bipod moderator scope on it, that will affect the overall weight as you're going to shoot it. I think I'd probably put a slightly smaller bipod on it, but I shot it as well from tripod sticks, which is superb for stability, especially when you're shooting in barns and things like that, and you've got to take some, you know, steep angle shots upwards, getting feral pigeons and things like that up in the rafters. Shot consistency and accuracy from the rifle was very good. These DRS barrels and air cylinders are, I think, the most consistent from the FX complete portfolio. I like the strain system and the fact you've got that rigidity in it, which is much less prone to getting bumped and bashed when you're out hunting. As you can see, accuracy on paper at 25 meters is commendable. We've got the group here with a 10.34 grain JSB. This is with the Zan 10 grain slug, and that's the 8.44 grain JSB pellet as well. Overall, the 10.34 grain JSB pellet is my favourite in a 177 air rifle in terms of accuracy, energy, etc. That gave me 11.4 foot-pounds at just over 700 feet per second. The extreme spread on a 10-shot string was 17 feet per second. Now, these Zan slugs are specifically for sub-12 air rifles. These are 177, 10 grain in weight, and they also shot very well. They gave me an extreme spread of just 12 feet per second, and I think for people wanting to push the ranges and distances, you're going to get that little bit of extra precision from that consistency. But, you know, you can make your choice of your projectiles, and half the fun of air rifles is shooting them, testing them, because the cost is very, very little, and you don't have to worry about massive amounts of noise and things like that, which is the joy of air rifles to me, especially in sub 12 foot-pound format. Now this rifle comes supplied with a steel fill probe on it, and the fill probe slots in the side here, fills up to 230 bar, and it's got FOST connector on the end, so you can use those very easily with your current recharging gear. I don't get any leaks from that, and the actual upgrade to the steel over the original brass ones is much more consistent in my opinion and experience. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little bit of review on this rifle. I do like shooting it. It's been a while since I've shot a sub 12 air rifle for precision from FX, and I have been reminded just how joyful it is in terms of the quiet, the precision, and the fact you can go hunting with it without making any noise disturbance, and you can continue at any time of day or night in smaller areas as well. And of course, with a higher shot count, you're not having to make sure you've got an air bottle handy to refill. Shooting pigeons and squirrels has been successful with the rifle, as well as all that plinking on paper and shooting some steel targets as well. Being relatively lightweight, the rifle is easy to handle. It's very stable from sticks. It's extremely stable from this large bipod, although that's probably a little bit too big for just general hunting purposes. Having the silencer does give you great consistency and less noise disturbance to anywhere around, including livestock, things like that, especially around horses, where they can be a little bit jumpy even with a low-powered FAC air rifle. You've got a massive amount of Picatinny rail on top to mount the scope exactly as you need it, and of course with a broad choice of different AR-15 compatible back ends, you can make the rifle exactly as you want it. Looks wise, I actually think it blends the AR-15 look very well with practical capability. Having the barrel within the air cylinder means you haven't got a hugely high profile rifle with a big buddy bottle underneath, and I think the shot count is totally acceptable for an afternoon of a little bit of plinking, or especially if you're going out on a hunting trip. You can get spare magazines, it's 16 rounds each in the 177. They're easy to keep in your pocket, load into the gun, off you go. When you get 2 or 3 of those, you're going to have a great evening out shooting around the farms. Right, well I hope you've enjoyed watching that review. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell and keep track of my regular uploads. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.